Hey, this is Dukey here. We had a lot of technical difficulties with this episode, so there was a lot of editing done to this one, but I didn't want to waste the recording that we had, so I went through, chopped it up, and I think we got somewhat of a decent podcast still. I do want to apologize in advance, but most of the bullshit should have been edited out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Relaxed Retro Talk, episode 20. Today we're going to be talking about growing up with the Master System, something I never really did. I didn't really get the Master System until I was maybe like 20 years old or so.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you had earlier than that.
No,
You jumped into the pool late.
Yeah, like I got the Master System after hearing about you and Bubs playing the Master System. I think the first time I actually played one was I went to your grandma's house with Bubs once and we played. I don't even remember what the hell.
Yeah, that's where we had it.
I think it was. Yeah. Did she have? We played. I think it was Rescue Mission with the railroad tracks and the light gun.
Yep.
And then they had. I think it was not Outrun. Fucking Space Harrier.
Yep.
And then and we played Ken Griffey Jr. on the Super Nintendo as well. That's what we played.
Anytime a trip to Grandma's house consists of KGJ, I mean, you got to get down with that. You know, when you strike a guy out and he's like, "Oh, come on!" The best moment in baseball history.
Just home run derbies all day long.
All day long. Yeah. So we had a Master System before we had an NES.
Okay.
My earliest gaming memories are of that Sega Master System. My mom played Space Harrier, and I remember watching her play Space Harrier, and she got the furthest out of any of us. We could always get to World 3 pretty easy. World 1, no sweat. Could probably do that without losing a life.
Yeah, I think I
World
could get
2,
to 3, and that's about it.
World 2, not so bad. By the time you get to World 3, it's like endurance race, and if you managed, by some grace, to get to World 4, where the roof comes down, and it speeds you up,
yeah,
Never ever did I make it through that.
Yeah, you can get to it, but it's almost impossible to get through it, because then you got like pillars everywhere too, right?
Yeah. And so she made it to like level 18 or 19 or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Sorry,
man.
I keep laughing because you keep getting Demon Mike, and it's like it's fucking horrifying when it happens.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
It's happened on stream so many times. Unfortunately, when I stream from my PC.
Oh yeah, and tell me about your. So anyway, so my mom had gotten something like level 16, 17, like
holy
ridiculously
shit!
far. Oh yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Dude, that's insane.
And then I don't remember her playing it ever again. Like we had those kind of few spots, like, and as we were getting older, as we kids were getting older, my mom and dad stopped playing video games, and then the Master System ended up like you mentioned. It ended up over my grandma's house. We had. Built into the system was Hang On and Safari Hunt, which was just that's a nice touch.
Yeah,
like if you're gonna beautiful idea, slap the damn game into the console. Way to go, good job, Sega. So we had those two. We had Space Harrier, we had Choplifter, we had Rescue Mission, and then we had Ghost House. Ghost House was special because it wasn't on a cartridge; it was on a card.
Yeah,
it was on that little smart card.
They were a little cheaper than the cartridges, I think. Right?
Yeah. It did. I don't know if there was really a difference as far as it goes for like the game itself. I mean, Ghost House is a pretty simple.
Yeah,
game,
I think they had like smaller storage, like file size or whatever.
I mean, that makes sense. If you think back to the like late '80s, early '90s, you're putting something on a card instead of the cartridge, then there's a lot less pieces there. But again, a cool idea, a really cool concept. We played the crap out of that game. I loved Safari Hunt, was probably my favorite light gun game. And then our light phaser bit the dust, and it didn't work anymore.
That's like common. I think I have 3 light phasers, and one of them works sometimes.
Yeah, they're not exactly known to be durable. So it bit the dust, and because of that, we weren't able to play Rescue Mission anymore, which I would say was
I can't either, really.
Such a good game, dude. I loved Rescue Mission. And we were really, really good at it. My older brother Jason was phenomenal. I could get again through like stage 1 and stage 2. I think he wrapped the damn
Yeah, I
game.
was just gonna ask, does it end? Like, I've never
It does.
got to
Yep.
the
Yeah, it's
end.
got an end. You play through the stages. I think it's twice
Oh,
total.
okay.
And it just gets harder as you go. But there is an end to the game.
I remember the part where I think you cross water and then you start
Yep.
like zigzagging back this way and then this way
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yep.
And I remember that's usually where I started getting in trouble because then
Yeah.
you got
On like the
guys coming from
bridges.
here and here and
Yeah.
here and you're
Yeah, on the
zigzagging
bridges
all
you
over.
had jetpack guys and people on the tracks, and you can't hit your guy. You have to shoot your cart to stall them out every now and then,
Yeah,
right?
can't
Like
you
that's
change the tracks or something? Like, wasn't there something like there was some
Yep.
parts where there was like a switcher?
Yeah, you had to flip the switch, otherwise you would loop back around again. If you
Yes,
miss that switch, you're done. Right? That loop that's a death loop. It would take you out pretty much every single time. So much fun.
that
And
was a
we
really good game, and it sucks
we
because
barely
it
sorry, go
sucks
ahead.
because you can't. Not only is it like almost impossible to play now because the light phasers kind of suck.
Yep.
You can emulate it, but you're not going to have the same effect if
It's
you're
not the
using like
same.
a mouse and a
Yeah.
controller.
Yeah, it's just not the same, right? And I think your reaction time when you're looking at something and aiming that phaser, like pew pew pew, versus using a mouse,
It's not the same
it's
at
just
all.
not the same.
No.
No. And I mean, even if you did have a working light phaser, you still have to have a CRTV.
Yeah.
It can't be a flat screen CRT. It's got to be a bubble screen
Mm-hmm.
CRT. Like, there's a lot of like things that you'd have to have in order to recreate that setup, and so it's sad because that's one of those games that gets lost in time. So much fun, and honestly, those few games scratch the surface of all the games that are available on the Master System.
Oh
We talked
yeah.
about this on the NES one, I think, where we jumped into kind of some of the games for the Master System, how like absolutely just beautiful they were. The
Yeah, dude.
graphics that the system could put out, and the experience the games delivered, I think were better than the NES.
I think so
But
too.
it was just less known than the NES. Blew up more, right? And so
Yeah.
because of that, off it goes, right?
I feel like the Master System definitely had better color and graphical capabilities than the NES,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the NES just did more with it sometimes. Like
Yeah.
like you had way more. I don't know. This is coming from a guy that played like a lot of JRPGs. There were a
Yep.
lot more JRPGs and good ones on the NES, whereas
Right.
the Master System you pretty much had Phantasy Star. There was this other weird one. It kind of had like a Dragon Quest vibe to it, but it was not very good. Like if you just seen screenshots of it or saw somebody play it, you would think it was like a pretty good game. But in
Right.
actuality, it's not very good at all. I can't remember what the hell it's called. It's like Golden Warriors or something like that.
Yeah. No idea.
But
I did. I really didn't walk through the catalog. I didn't give the catalog enough justice. I feel like I will have to return back to some of those games because there's some bangers on
yeah,
there.
definitely. And I did do a top 10 Master System games video, and it actually did really well. The biggest thing I found with the Master System as opposed to the NES is the NES at the start of its life was mostly like arcade game ports, but the
Mm-hmm.
Master System pretty much through most of its life was if it wasn't an arcade game port, it was an arcadey style game. And I think
Yeah.
that's what started to kind of drop it off a little bit. I think that's what ended up
Yeah.
kind of killing Sega in the end like at the end, like even in like
Yep.
the Dreamcast era, is because people wanted like a longer game with less. Like the arcade games are great, but you don't want a game that you play for like an hour and then it resets back to the beginning. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People
Yep.
wanted to
Well,
get more bang for their buck when it comes to like
and
content, I guess, right?
yeah, and that was the thing is that the like I was reading up a little bit on the Master System, and that was their big push, right? Their thing was promoting the fact that it was the arcade at home.
Yeah.
Like that's what they wanted you. They wanted you to associate Master System, arcade. If you can't get to the arcade, you play this instead, right?
Well,
And
it was
so
way cheaper to
that
buy a cartridge than it was to go to the arcade every single day and waste all your.
right,
You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I mean, but I mean, it's classic. Can we, before we jump into some of the titles, can we just take a moment to talk about the box art?
Oh yeah, it was so weird,
It's
dude.
so bad.
Yeah.
The
My
box
favorite, I
art
think, is
is
the.
awful.
I think my favorite is the Alex Kidd in Miracle World one. Or no, there's like a
Okay.
wrestling one where the guy's got his own head in a headlock.
That's the one I was
That's
gonna say.
that's a
Is
good one
the
too.
the wrestling box art was just
And Alex Kidd,
terrible.
he's like jumping on screen and he's just like his fist is like out.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's so dumb.
The box art not great. And so, but I mean, I almost appreciate it now. It's like looking back, I was like, this looks awful. And they all the games had the same like an NES cartridge looked different. If you picked up Mega Man and you picked up Castlevania, they didn't look the same. They were their own thing. But every Master System had that same white
White
background, blue
grid.
lines
Yeah.
with some kind of
Terrible picture.
picture on it and the name across the top.
Yeah.
Right? And the name would be different depending on the game, right?
Yeah.
Choplifter was the Choplifter. It all kind of was different. A lot of them looked the same, but they started changing that out as time went on.
Yeah.
But I mean, taking that away, honestly, dude, the game catalog is pretty strong.
The
There's
Rambo,
some
I
really
found the
good games
Rambo
there.
games on it to be like some of my favorites. Like they were so good. Those were like the first ones I got. So I got like when I first got mine, it would have been I think I was like 19, 20 years old. It was when
Okay.
I had moved into remember when I was in that like living at that acreage or whatever outside
Mm-hmm.
of our hometown? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when I really got back into retro gaming because that's when I was
Okay.
like, oh, I mean, that was when I got Dragon Quest 2 and 3 because I had only played 1 and 4 at the time,
Okay.
so I got 2 and 3. I remember replaying the Legend of Zelda, and then yeah, you guys were always talking about the Master System, and I remember playing it for a little bit, and I was like, well, they can't be that much. I think I got it for like $30 on eBay or something,
Oh, okay.
and so I grabbed Space Harrier, Rescue Mission, and Rambo. I think that was the three I got when I first got it, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe Outrun. But anyways,
Oh,
I just remember Rambo being so fun. Like, have you ever played like Commando on the NES?
I have. Yep.
Yeah, or like Ikari Warriors. Like it's basically
Yeah.
like that, but you've got
And
like
I think you showed me Rambo, right? Like
probably.
it's kind of that like screen crawler type
Yeah. It's like a
thing.
shooter, like a shoot 'em up, but you're running around, and you got to
Yeah.
shoot your arrows at the tents, and then they blow up, and you rescue like the
Yeah.
POWs and stuff like that. That game was so much fun, and I think one of the big reasons I loved it is because there was a. Whenever I think of the Master System, I always am reminded again of the Commodore 64 because that's where I originally played Choplifter and
Hmm.
that Rambo game. It was like the same game on the Commodore
Yeah.
64, and I
Yeah.
remember looking up the Commodore 64 game and being like, man, like I remember the Commodore 64 version looking even better than this. And then I looked it up and it looks like shit. But but I was like, oh man, this looks good. But I think it was even better on the C64. And I looked it up and it wasn't better at all. But it
Yeah.
was just like I don't know it was so good for those like arcade style like get as far as you can and start the game over and challenge yourself games. Like it was just
Yeah.
perfect for those.
There's a lot of those games. A
Yeah.
lot. Like I mean, like even just the pack-ins, right? Hang on
Hang On was fun.
outrun. It was outrun on a motorbike, right?
Yeah, basically, yep.
Without, well, I mean, it was more built like like a motorcycle
Like an
race.
actual
But
racer.
honestly,
Yep.
honestly, they took so much from like outrun and hang on to me feel like the same kind of game, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I remember playing that game for hours, like a ridiculous amount of time, and it would always be the same thing, right? Like you'd be on the bike, meow, meow,
Yeah.
meow, meow,
Those like
right, as you're
old
going
sound
past other bikes,
effects.
and yeah, and there's no like background music or anything like that. It's just like that sound. But I
Yeah.
mean, we would literally play that game. So we would go and visit with my grandma. My mom and dad would be upstairs, literally visit with my grandma. We'd be downstairs as kids, playing this stupid game, and then we would sit there. We would play these same 4 games, 5 games, over and over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again. Um, and so and it's harkening back to when we were talking about the NES, there wasn't a lot of games, but the ones that you did play, you played you played the crap out of them, and
Mm-hmm.
you just played them and played them and played them and played them. And I'm disappointed because now I would like to revisit the. I would really like to have a physical Master System. My older brother had it. He passed away. That system is gone. I won't be getting
Yeah.
that system back. And the games and everything that was with it and stuff, that's all gone. The price of retro gaming right now is insane,
Yeah, it
right? And what
is.
people want for some of this stuff is beyond ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too bad because it ends up kind of being lost to time, right? If
Yeah.
you're not going to do, if you're not going to run the route of emulation and stuff like that, then you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
One day I'll recollect these things, maybe, depending, because the further we go in time, the less of them
Sometimes,
there are.
well, and yeah, and then the value goes up and up, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. So
I have seen them at like Cashopolis in Saskatoon. They go for like
mhm.
130, and then they come with like
Yeah,
2 controllers, some games and stuff. So,
yeah. It's not like they're awful, right? I mean, it's
hmm
not like there's a giant, that
demand
everybody's
for
trying to get
Master
their hands
Systems.
on the Master
Yeah.
System. But I mean, considering that it wasn't nearly as popular as the NES is, to me that means there's also less of them out there too, right?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
when they do show up, people want a ridiculous fortune for them. But
Yeah.
I mean, some of the games that exist on the Master System, right? I've got a thing up here that basically says the first specific cartridge was Fantasy Zone. That was June
Oh,
15th,
I love that game.
1986.
That's a really good game.
Okay. Do you know what the last released Master System game was?
Man, I bet it was in the 2000s because Brazil used to get.
Sorry. Yeah, North America I'm talking, but yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
The last
Brazil used to get Tectoy to continue printing them
Yeah.
because video
Yeah.
games in Brazil are so expensive.
Yeah.
They don't have like Japan's actually the same way. Here in North America, we have like regulation, like this is the price of new releases. This is the highest it can get.
Mhm.
Japan, I remember when I think it was Gundam Breakers 3 first came out, it was $300 basically. The game.
Okay. Holy
And that's
crap.
why I remember when I came back from Japan and I got us all a copy of Gundam Breakers 3, it's because I was
Yep.
in a used game store and they were selling them for like $36. So I was like, well, fuck. Because I was just like, you know what? I'm just never going to play this game because I'm not paying $300. Like, that was when it first came out. It was $300 for the
Yeah.
fucking game.
Yeah. It's
And
ridiculous.
Brazil's the same. They don't have regulated game prices. So like something like a PS1 or PS2 would have been like, I don't know, like $700, $800, right? So nobody's buying that shit. And then the games are going to be outrageous too. So everyone was buying Master System games, and I remember I'm guessing Serbia was the same because I'm friends with a Serbian guy, and he was always like, "Oh man, I loved playing Mario on the Sega." And I was like, "What are you talking about, dude? You're talking about either Sonic or you're talking about like Nintendo?" He's like, "No,
Yeah.
man, it was Mario on the Sega." He was playing Alex Kidd in Miracle World on the Master System. Is
Oh,
what he was
okay.
playing, but
Yep.
he was playing that when like the PS2 and stuff or the PS1 was out.
Right.
And I worked with a guy from Brazil, and he went back to Brazil, and he said, yeah, the same thing. And that was only like maybe 8 years ago, and they're still playing Master
Oh,
System
okay.
in Brazil. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
That's insane. Just to think, because I mean, like, it was saying that the original version was a remodeled export of the Sega Mark III.
yeah, similar to like
Um,
the NES was the Famicom, right?
that's right. Yep. And so the thing though was that with that unit, um, it's seen all these different iterations. So for it to still be, used
Oh,
quite regularly in Brazil, right? Like it says right here, Tectoys received requests to remake the original Master System 2015. It was reported the Master System plug-and-play systems sell around 150,000 units per year in Brazil, a level that holds its own against modern systems like the PlayStation 4. By 2016, Tectoy had sold 8 million units of the Master System branded systems in Brazil.
That's
Like
insane, dude.
that's nuts. 2015, right?
Yeah.
That's 8 million units. Like holy. Um, so I mean, just that alone is great. And a lot of people don't even know. Like when you're talking to somebody about the Master System, they're like, "Oh yeah, I played the Genesis." No, 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 no. Not the Genesis. The
Yeah.
system before the Genesis, the Master System. I have never heard of the Master System before.
Yeah.
And it's like as if it never existed. And I don't know if that's because the NES was so insanely popular, or
I
if
think
it's just
so.
because that's how Sega works as a company, right? Like I don't think like the Genesis was hands down their most popular console,
I think so, yeah.
and then after that it's just kind of this schmoz, right? Everyone knew about the Saturn and the Dreamcast, but
Yeah.
not the Saturn wasn't better than the PlayStation,
No.
and the Dreamcast wasn't better than the PlayStation 2, right? And so it's always been in the shadow of another system. I think the Genesis was the first time that they had a console that was like, if not number one, was a strong contender for number one. Right?
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
Nintendo was
Genesis was
insanely
number one
popular, but
at times, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, it was neck and neck, right?
Yeah.
Like the console wars, like the dawn of the console wars. Um, but I mean, you talk to people about the Master System, they don't even know. Master System's last release in North America, it says here, it was 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog. And you played Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System. It was not good.
Yeah, so
Let's start. Let's go with your. What are some of your favorite games? I said the ones that I'm familiar with. You're familiar with more games than I am. Like you've actually played a lot more, right?
yeah. So a lot of the ones it's crazy because like I said, they made them for a lot of years after the NES was out.
Right.
And so you've got like I think they even did like Street Fighter 2 on the Master System. Like
Yeah, they did a lot of
yeah, they did
games.
a lot of games like farther like way after they probably should have. Um but one of my favorites is like Sonic Chaos, which I believe was a Game Gear game originally. There's a lot of
Yeah.
like Game Gear games that are on
Yeah,
the
they came
Master
back around,
System
hey?
because it's literally the Game Gear is literally just Master System hardware in a handheld device. So
Right.
the screen size is different, but that and like the resolution's a little bit different, but that's about it. Like they're literally the same thing. And when you were talking about earlier how the only way you could really experience the Master System now for some of the games is on emulator. The shitty thing
Hmm.
is like not that the controller is anything like amazing, but the controller is really a part of the experience when it comes to the Master
I
System.
really like the Master System controller. I like the D-pad on that stupid thing.
I don't know if
Just
I do,
because
but the
I
buttons
don't
feel like they're very unique. The buttons like themselves.
everything, the whole controller is unique. I don't like the
Hmm.
D-pad from the point of view of like being able to actually use it. I like that it's different than every other D-pad
Yeah,
that's
that's
out
true. It's
there.
like a big
Right?
square.
Yeah, it is. It's a big square with the corners rubbed off, and it's an 8 directional D-pad, right?
Yeah.
And so you're good to go. Don't get me wrong, you're not playing Street Fighter on a D-pad like this. But I mean, like just the fact that it was different, right? It had a little bit of a change. Um, the buttons were really like they were like, what do you call that? Convex. They weren't
Oh yeah,
your
yeah,
thumb didn't go into them. They were round, right?
yeah.
So when you
Like
press
pushed
them,
out.
yeah.
They were a lot
The other
taller
thing,
than the NES ones too.
yeah,
Like you, it's hard to even
it's really
describe
hard to. Yeah,
how.
you need a hold one.
Yeah.
The no start select pause button on the console.
Yeah, that was
A
a
weird
unique
choice.
feature. Yeah.
And the other thing, have you ever did you ever use the pause feature?
Yeah, I have.
It just pauses literally. It
It just
halts the
locks the
game.
game up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so like if you're in if like when you're playing Choplifter, it's like dun, 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 ba, ba, and then you hit the pause, it's like ba, ba, ba.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like pause it, it would just lock the whole thing up, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you would have to turn the volume down after you pause it to go use the bathroom kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be
Annoying,
insanely
yeah.
obnoxious. Some of the games though, like Fantasy Zone, you were saying, like Fantasy Zone as a launch title, as like the original title.
Yeah, that was
Such a fun
fun.
game. And I gotta tell you, I didn't know Fantasy Zone was the game that it was, right? Like with the
Right.
little ship floating around.
Yeah, and he's
I
got
thought for whatever
legs. If
reason
you go on the
Fantasy Zone
ground,
was
he's
like
actually like a living dude. He's got legs and
yeah,
shit. And you got your upgrades. There's actually like a half decent story too. Like,
absolutely.
I think there's
That's
like
something that
3
they
of
did
them
right.
total now.
Yeah, Master System did that right with pretty much every single game. There was a good sized story. Space Harrier, if you let the
Oh
menu
yeah,
sit
there's a
long
big
enough, it would
story on that
actually
as
run.
well.
Yeah, it would run through the whole story and tell you what's going on
Wasn't
and kind of.
wasn't Space Harrier in the same universe as Fantasy
Yeah,
Zone? Because doesn't
it
it
says
say in the Fantasy
it
Zone?
says "Welcome to the Fantasy Zone" at the very
Yeah,
bottom of it. So I don't know.
it's
It's
like
got
the
to be
same
related.
the Fantasy Zone cinematic universe.
Yeah, yeah. The PCU.
Yeah,
Um, uh, the other one I wanted to talk about was Fantasy Star.
dude.
because I never played I've always wanted to play Fantasy Star, right?
Yeah,
Because it's always been like, oh, Fantasy Star, this amazing RPG. And then you actually played through the game.
yeah,
I watched some of it. I tried not to watch a lot because I do want to play through it myself.
yeah.
But I mean, what I did see, I couldn't believe that we were looking at a master system. Like
I
the
know.
graphics, the sound, the story, everything about it.
It looked leagues beyond. Because I think I looked it up and it came out like 2 weeks after Final Fantasy One. And
Mm-hmm.
like, if you look at Final Fantasy One on the NES and you look at Fantasy Star, it
Yeah.
looks like a next gen console compared to
Oh,
Final
absolutely.
Fantasy One.
It's beyond insane. It dropped in Japan. I have it right here. It dropped in Japan December 20th, 1987.
Okay,
North America, November 1988.
yeah, and then I
And
think Final Fantasy was like October. I think.
and I have to look that up because I think that's important because at this point in the game,
Nobody's really copying each other at this.
well,
Because
no, everything's kind of fresh,
yeah.
and I mean, and graphics don't mean a whole lot because I mean the
Gameplay
game's
is key, right? And
right.
but
Yeah, 1987 for Japan, 1990 for North America.
Final Fantasy was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I
that would have
mean,
been a
like,
huge like if you had the Master System when it at launch in North America.
yeah,
God damn. And then Final Fantasy comes out like a year or two later. You'd be like,
yeah.
"What is this? A baby's toy?"
And I mean, and it's insane, right? Like the quality difference between those two games is nuts, and that's honestly why every time I look at the Sega systems, I'm like, how on earth did this not do better?
I
How is
know.
it possible that this system failed compared to these other ones? And it's just bad business decisions, right?
It absolutely
If
is.
if Sega was to resurrect and build a new console, I'm sure that it would be successful.
I think so. The problem
I think
is Sega is like the most self-sabotaging company ever.
absolutely,
Like everything
absolutely.
that's ever went wrong, they did to themselves. Like every
Yeah,
single time.
they're like, hey, we got a decision. We can go left and win, or go right and lose. I guess we got to go right every time. Every time.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I think if they were to release, can you imagine a new? So you've got the PS5, the Xbox One XS, whatever the system's called, and all of these new systems. Can you imagine Sega shows up and they're like, hey, we're going to create the Genesis 3. I don't know, and they put it down and it's cartridge based and it's like an old system.
Yeah,
right?
that would be
It's
awesome.
retro focused, but it's new games.
Yeah.
We're gonna build games like they were.
Even if it had like Dreamcast style graphics, you know what
Sure.
I mean? Like,
Dude,
and the games were stellar. That would be awesome.
I think it would make a mess. And if they were like, and not only that, but we're gonna make the price half the price of all this other stuff because it's
And then include
older tech.
all they would honestly have to do is release, because Sega's been good for releasing all their like old like arcade hits, like everything up to like early 90s. All
Yeah.
Sega would have to do is release a console that can play all their arcade games after that. So like
Yep.
Outrunners, like Outrun 2, like all the
Crazy
3D
Taxi.
ones. Yeah, yeah, like all the
Yep.
3D Sega arcade games, and even early or late 2D ones that never made it to home consoles, and they could make a
100%.
killing, I feel.
Yeah, they'd rake it in. I think there's so much that they could do that that would just, I don't know. I would buy that system. I would.
Absolutely.
Um, the Yeah. So this says there's a list of 312 game titles for the Master System. 15 were released only in Japan. 4 were only released in North America. 158 of those 312 were PAL regions, and 22 were only released in Brazil.
Oh, only
So I mean,
22 were beyond?
we're like Brazil only.
Oh, I thought it was
Um,
way more.
yeah. So I mean, like, and I mean, there's a fair amount of tech toy on here. It's insane to see the games were being released
That late
into
in
like the
game.
late '90s, early 2000s
Yeah.
for the
It's
freaking
nuts,
Master
dude.
System. That's
They had a
nuts.
huge market in Brazil. Like I think Tectoy was approached Sega. Like it wasn't even the other way around. Tectoy was like, "Look, man, games are ridiculous here. We could make a lot of money if you give us the rights to like develop these systems and port these games." And
They're
Sega
like,
was like,
I
"Fuck
like
it,
money.
fuck it. We haven't made a Master System game in years. Like if you want to make Master System games, go ahead, right?"
Right.
And they paid like a small licensing fee, and that's it, right?
And
So.
that was the end of the story.
Uh,
It's insane. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into tech toy a little bit more because I think that's really cool. It looks
Um,
like they made a Master System Girl, which is a pink colored variant of the Master
oh,
System
really?
Super Compact. It's ridiculous. It's the most
Um,
ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
the thing about Phantasy Star though was like you had this. It was so far ahead. Just like not even. I don't even know if I want to say like story wise, but yeah,
Hmm.
I think story wise because you didn't have until maybe like Star Ocean. You didn't really when that was like a Super Nintendo game. You didn't have
Hmm.
a JRPG that even thought about traveling to other planets and shit. Like you know what I mean? Like you would
Right.
scour the world map, but then you would get on a rocket ship and go to another planet. There was like 3 or 4 planets. I can't even remember. And it was just like, holy crap, dude! Like this is nuts. The story was really well done. There's twists in there, and the graphics were like way beyond what you could do at that time on the NES.
Absolutely.
One
I
thing
get.
that
I don't understand how it's kind of faded off. That it's not that nobody knows about it. It's that it's not a household name.
I think it was honestly because if you think about what happened with the Xbox 360, I think
Yep.
the NES came out first and became so popular because compared to the Atari, the NES is a fucking masterpiece. You know what I
The
mean?
NES is the household name.
Yeah.
If I
And
if
it
I
was
show you a picture of an NES, you're gonna be like, "That's a Nintendo."
Yeah, and people were eating that shit up, and so
Hmm.
they already owned the market before the Master System came out.
Hmm.
So everybody already had that. I mean, remember when the Super Nintendo came out and parents were already complaining that you couldn't play Nintendo games on the
Yep.
Super Nintendo? So
Yep.
why are you going to buy a whole other console, right, at that
That's
time?
right.
And consoles were
And at
pretty
the cost.
pricey, yeah, back
Well,
then.
that's the price has never changed. It's changed. That's not what I mean. What I mean is the prices have always been expensive,
Yeah,
right? The
absolutely.
consoles have always been expensive. The games have always been expensive. And the only time that we ever really bought games was when we could get them on discount, right? I
Yep.
said in previous conversations, right? When we bought games for, I remember going with my dad to a local hardware store, in where you're living. It's called PV Mart, right?
Oh
That's a
yeah.
Canadian hardware store, and so they sell like garden tools and grass seed and stuff like that. But they at one point in time they sold freaking Master System and Nintendo games, and I remember going into the store with my dad. We
Hmm.
bought a game. We brought it home. It sucked. And so we put it back in the box. We took it back because my dad knew the owner of the store.
Yeah.
They were like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. We'll swap it for you, right?"
Yeah.
And I remember the guy being like, "If you want a game to play, get this one." And he pointed to, I think that was when we bought Rescue Mission, right?
Oh.
And so I thought that's when we got that one. But I mean, we got it at a freaking hardware store. There's no game
Oh.
stores here. There's no
No, you had to go to
Walmart.
Saskatoon to do that shit.
Right. Yeah. So if you wanted that kind of stuff, so I mean,
We didn't get a
it's
game
it
store until like the Genesis era, I feel
long,
like.
long ways, long ways. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Until
think
Walmart really started carrying them, honestly.
well, I remember we had like an EB Games in the mall.
Oh, I remember that store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sold like
Yeah.
CDs and video
There
games
was
at
like
the
a
time.
TFM kind of thing. Yeah.
But as I was saying, like the Master System, I think got snuffed out because the NES was so popular. Everybody already
Hmm.
had one. Why
Yeah.
would you buy another at that time,
Yeah.
right?
You're not going to have multiple consoles.
And then that's why the Genesis was so popular because the Genesis came out before the Super NES, and the graphics were just leagues above the NES,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So anyone that grabbed the Genesis, they had that before the Super Nintendo, and I think
Yeah.
that's why the Genesis was able to take hold. And that's kind of similar to why the Xbox 360 took hold originally too, right? Because that came out way before the PS3. A lot of people were buying it because their friends already had a 360, and a lot of people didn't want to wait till the next gen. And then when they did announce the PS3, it was
Hmm.
like the whole meme, right? $599 or whatever, and like
Yeah.
nobody was buying that shit when it first came out. Like I am a huge PlayStation fan. It's my favorite, probably my favorite of the big console creators, and I didn't buy a PS3 until like a year or two in because
Yeah.
the price was absolutely outrageous. I mean, same with the PS5. I still don't own a PS5, and mainly because there's no games I want right now, but
Right.
also because the price is fucking outrageous.
Yeah. The release date Xbox 360, November 22nd, 2005. The release date PS3, North America, November 17th, 2006. So
Yeah,
about
so
a
that's like a
year's
full
difference.
year. Yeah, so
Yeah.
everybody, if you were into multiplayer games, your friends already had an Xbox 360. So why were you
Yeah.
going to buy a PS3? And that's the same as the NES, same as the Genesis, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Nintendo
And
had a lot of brand power, and that's why the NES, the Super Nintendo and the
Nintendo's
Genesis were
always
kind of
been
neck
fine.
and neck. But
Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo's always been fine because of their IP. Everyone wants to play the Mario games. Everybody wants to play like those, like the Legend of Zelda.
yeah,
If you like those games, guess what? You're buying a Nintendo. That's how it works, right?
yeah. But even the
I,
N64 and GameCube, they took a big back seat to
oh,
PlayStation and
100%.
even
Yeah,
Xbox with the GameCube. Like,
I think as time went on, graphics became more important,
that's true.
and not only graphics, but then storyline and all of the other things as we kind of upgrade. But I
Hmm.
mean, at the point in time, the Master System versus the NES, right? Rewinding back to then, honestly, it's NES had the hype. Everybody, if you had an NES, you were cool,
Yeah.
right? You were the cool kid, and everyone wanted to be like you because no one could get them. They were sold out everywhere.
Yeah,
It was the
it was the
hottest
whole
thing you possibly get.
false shortage that they did with the Wii, right? Nintendo's
Yeah,
famous for doing that.
and the people who had Master Systems were those that couldn't get an NES. Well, we don't have NES, but we do have these Sega systems. And
Yeah.
you get it, and your kid would be like, "No, I wanted an NES," and then you'd slap them like a bunch of times. I gotta say, yeah, Master System's fantastic. I don't. Was it as good as the NES? Well, obviously not.
At the
right?
end of the day, no, obviously not.
But I mean, from a quality point of view, list a game to a game. I think it could have stood its own.
It's still better than the Turbo Graphics, I would say.
Yeah,
And Turbo
I
Graphics
agree.
came out in the next gen, like alongside the Genesis, pretty much. So
Yeah, TurboGrafx, the Genesis, and the Super NES. I remember going into Radio Shack and playing the TurboGrafx and Bonk's Adventure.
oh
The TurboGrafx was fun to like watch.
yeah, it
All
looked good.
16 games that it had, or whatever it was. Right? Like,
It looked good, that's for sure. Like
it looked really good.
compared to the NES, for sure at the time.
But
It was another one
yeah.
that was all on card and stuff too, right?
That's
Like, all their
they're
games were cards.
gimmicky. Lots of gimmicky stuff. I think people were just trying to get away from Nintendo, wanted to do something different.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, awesome console. Black and red, also great color.
Yeah,
combo.
that
I like
does
the,
look
the
good.
console looks really slick.
Yeah, and that it
Yeah.
holds up too. The look. Some of the consoles, like
Yeah.
the looks, don't really hold up. Like the NES looks like a fucking VCR or something.
Yeah, the NES looks dated. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
But the
But,
Master System just looks
yeah.
cool. It's got like that
Yeah.
80s cool that holds up.
Yes.
Whereas
Yeah.
NES is like that 80s cool that looks kind of cringe now.
Yeah, yeah, and since the Master System was black, it wasn't prone to yellowing like the NES and
True.
SNES are. Right, the
Um,
Genesis had it right with the black plastic for the consoles. They didn't ever
yeah.
have to worry about that
Uh,
aging.
yeah, I guess the Saturn was black as well.
Hmm.
Um, I guess the last thing I wanted to say that the NES did, or the Master System did, kind of fall behind the NES for was, and you don't really notice it in most games, but in Ninja Gaiden, which honestly, Ninja Gaiden on the Master System is better than all the Ninja Gaidens on the
Okay,
NES, and they're all good. I love them all. But the Master System one is the best Ninja Gaiden game, I strongly believe.
no
But
kidding.
it doesn't have that, I don't know, that cutscene scrolling. Like Ninja Gaiden's famous for its
Mm,
cutscenes, but it
yeah.
had lots of, the NES version had lots of like movement and panning up to the top of the mountain and stuff like that. But the Master System is all just like screenshots basically for its cutscenes.
Okay,
So there was definitely something that the NES could do there that the Master System couldn't.
right.
But overall, best Ninja Gaiden game for sure is on the
No
Master
kidding.
System. You
I'll have to
definitely have
check
to
that out.
check that one out. That's like
Yeah, I will.
probably one of my favorite Master System games of all time. But yeah,
Neat.
Master System, hell of a console. Didn't get the respect it deserved at the time.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it makes a bit of a resurgence. Like
that'd
I
be
said,
cool.
there's some games, or like I guess you said, there's some games that you can't get the full effect of anymore,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because of the light phaser not working very well. Um, but for the most part, a lot of the games still hold up, especially if you're a fan of like those arcade style, early '80s arcade style games.
Yeah, absolutely. Great system.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching or listening. I do want to apologize for the audio technical difficulties we had here. I will edit most of them out, but yeah, I do apologize. We will not record from my PC ever again, I think.
That's all right.
We'll be on
We'll figure.
laptop from here
We'll
on out.
fix that one in post. It'll be
But
fun.
anyways, if you guys enjoyed it and you want to check us out live, we're both streaming on Twitch at least 3 nights per week each. I'm at twitch.tv/Dukey03.
I'm at twitch.tv/DG online. Come hang out with us.
Come hang
Join our
out.
Discord.
Yeah,
Join
Discord
the.
links will be down at the bottom. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
See ya.